Perfect. All right, everyone. Well, welcome to our team huddle. Super excited to be presenting to y'all tonight. We are going over, we were going over our series for what we had covered at the retreat, just because I know that not everyone could make it. And then some people wanted a refresher to go over it. So here we are, and we're doing like the final training in that. So just to recap, Polly and Gabby had talked about last week just on mindset, just kind of like, we talked about this book right here that we're using, and we can give you the link to order that if you're not familiar with this. Basically, it's just like your daily dues. And one thing I can honestly say in my business is all throughout my business, I always had this like little notebook, like I still carry one around, that like I would always say, what are the 3 things that I have to do for my business every day, like no matter what. And I would always picture it in my mind, like if all my kids were sick and my husband were sick and the dog was sick, what could I do in my business no matter what? Like I just always had that mindset. And I honestly feel like it's that consistency that like has been growing my business. Now, I wish it was 5, like even just slight edging it and doing like 2 more would have been amazing. But so for the past year, what I've been doing is I've been following this. And so I'm going to like show you like what we're talking about. So if you don't have this workbook, like basically, so here's the thing. I started doing this, and I know Polly touched on this last weekend, but we started, I read this book called Atomic Habits. And the one thing that I was trying to get like one nugget that I get out of a book, and like this was it. So little, but so huge. They talked about habit stacking. And basically that's taking a habit and combining it with like a habit you enjoy. So like one habit that I enjoy is drinking my detox tea in the morning with a pomegranate fizz. And usually I would get that and get my kids off to school and like come in front of my computer, like do that stuff. Well, I was like, okay, I'm going to turn this into like an enjoyable thing where I drink my detox tea and my tizzy, and I go either out into the garden or I go in our breakfast room if it's going to be cold and rainy or whatever. And I do my 5 and 5, which what I'm going to talk about, where I do like my whole little thing. So I started doing that, and it's been amazing, because what was happening was this stuff that I'm about to show you, it's easy to do, but it is so easy not to do. Like if you let it get away from you, you could easily not do it. And it's not like every time I do this, I'm like, wow, I just knocked out my business. But what happens is I start like hearing back from people that I would have never reached out to had I not been doing this. And I'm going to share some examples of how this worked out. So again, like in the beginning of this, and if you're launching, I'm going to tell you the difference between if you're launching like versus like once we get out of the launching phase, once we do this, like when I talk about lists and stuff, when you're launching, you're using your 100-person list is the only difference in this. But so every day I'm just going to lose my bookmark here. I do like 20 minutes of mindset, like they had covered. It's 5 things that I'm grateful for. I do meditation for 2 minutes, like they talked about, affirmations for 2 minutes. It's just on my phone. I time it. I do it. I'm done. And then I get down to the 3 non-negotiables, which is always first my 5 and 5s. And then it's like, make a curiosity packet for so-and-so, schedule Facebook post for the Facebook party, and then I've got like my 6 things to do. Okay. The biggest thing that I do, and this is what I'm training on, is what you'll hear us refer to as the 5 and 5. That's 5 new reach outs a day and 5 follow-ups. If you're using this workbook, just kind of how my method has been is it's been like I do 5 brand new reach outs, and if they respond, like I don't know if you can see the checks, like you can see like I check them off, but then I put a check with a circle around them if they respond. That's helpful for me when I'm doing my 5 follow-ups. I'm flipping through my book and doing that. But I do want to show y'all something that's been pretty amazing. Share screen. See if I have it up. Got so many people's trackers up because we've been working. Okay, so I pull up my tracker. Let's see. Okay, so sorry, y'all. Let me just go to my 100-person list. Okay. So like, if you look here, like, I mean, they're color sorted in conversation, those are people I'm having conversations with, interested in the business, interested in the business, interested in the business. These are interested in connecting, interested in connecting, interested in connecting. These people are, so I can go through here, interested in hosting. So when I want to host stuff, now it's like, interested in product, and not responding. So I need to circle back up. And then I think the last one is not right now, and then these are the new people. So like you can see, I mean, look how many people, like that's insane. And these are people that I wouldn't have. So like all this is right here is a workbook to put into your tracker. And that is so valuable, because it's like, there are so many, like I'm grinding, like I'm getting in front of so many new people that like, it's easy to forget about the people that like, oh, last week I was excited about 3 people who were interested in the business. And now I'm on to the next 5 people. And oh my gosh, like I'm forgetting about them. So it's really important to put them into your tracker. So now I want to talk about like the crux of like this training. So one thing that when I first started doing this, I was just like, oh, 5 new people. Who are they going to be? Well, I saw this one lady yesterday, this one girl that used to be in my workout class, my cousin's sister's friend. Like I would literally, it would take me like 20 minutes just to think of 5 new people. Like it was, and it was so random. Like, it's like, there was no method to it. And then the 5 follow-ups would kind of be the same way. I look back in my book, but like they were so random. So I realized that I needed to have a list, and my list be my boss. Okay. What I mean by that is you can take any list, whether it's your 100-person list. I chose Facebook because that's my biggest list, I think, besides my phone list. I'm actually almost done with my Facebook, so I'm going to be going to another list. But I just want to show you something, and then I'm going to bring Robbie into this. So when you go to Facebook, and this is not like a Facebook thing, so if you don't have Facebook, don't worry, but we'll find another list. Like you can do it with any list. But so I go to, okay, so here's my Facebook. Like I just opened it up. I click on my little picture, and then I see cute and Louise. And then I scroll down to where it says friends. And you have to do this on your phone to get an alphabetical order, by the way, because some people are like, it doesn't work on mine. I'm like, okay, my Facebook and your Facebook isn't different. Like it's the same. So you click on that number, and you see they go like in alphabetical order. Do you see that? Like the A's like this. And you literally put the first 5 down is your first 5. The next day, it's 6 through 10. The next day, it's 11 through, does that make sense? Like you're literally like, that is your boss. And if you get to someone that you feel weird about, sorry, you got to get it done. And that's what's so brilliant about this. Okay, I'm going to call Polly out on this just because it's so fun to do this. Because she was actually getting frustrated with me because she's like, oh, well, I made this list of 300 people. I mean, I'm reaching out. And if there's anything you know about Polly, if anyone is doing the do, it is Polly Brothers. She is doing the do. She is hustling every single day. And she's like, I mean, I've reached out to like, I made a whole new list of 300. I'm like, yeah, well, tell me this. How many people do you have on your Facebook friends? And she's like, 3,000. I'm like, you just selected 10% of your 3,000 people. Like you just decided that those other people, like those 2,700 people, like you're not talking to them. Does that make sense? So like we all do it. Like, I mean, when I'm making my list, when I'm thinking my 5 and 5, but I'm like, but if you go to your Facebook and you just go in order and you let the only condition of someone not being able to be on your list is if they already do Arbonne, period. And I'm going to give you some examples, like period. Like I reached out to, when Polly and I were leaving to go to Green Bay, to the priest who baptized my first 2 children. You want to know what I said? Because I'm going to share it in a little bit. Like I've reached out to, again, I know we laugh about this, but this is turning into a good person, the booger eater in 3rd grade. Yes, I reached out to him because his wife is smoking hot. And she is like awesome. So, I mean, like there's like so many people like that, like the point of this is that your list is your boss. You don't overthink it. You go into it. So I want to bring Robbie into this because Polly and I worked with Robbie on this. And, we said, this is what you do. Like, like are you like, let's talk about who you're reaching out to. So when Robbie, it was like this, it was on Zoom, it was me, Polly, and Robbie. And we were chatting with her, and I just said, I don't even know what I said. What did I say? Like, what are your first 5 people?
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, tell me about the first person. So tell me about the first person.
It was somebody I had reached out to a couple times and she'd never replied. So I had kind of given up on her. I was like, yeah, she's not interested. So.
And you were telling me that too, like, yeah, let's skip her because I already reached out to her. And I'm like, what did I say?
And she said, nope, I'm reaching out to her right now.
That's right. So we reached out to her right then and there. And that's the other thing, is that like, we've created a reach out. So like the second thing you're going to do is like in boards. So I just want you to see, y'all are familiar with boards by now. Let me go into my boards. So I have Andrew's Arbonne board, and in there I have reach outs, and look how many reach outs I have. I mean, it's insane. And the only reason why I have all these reach outs is because I've been doing this. And so it gets easier and easier, because like last week I created a new reach out for a situation. I kind of did, like, it was like similar to a reach out that I would have done, but kind of different. So like I created a new reach out. So what we did with Robbie was we're like, okay, let's create a reach out that you feel confident about, that's authentic to you. So Robbie, would you mind reading us that reach out?
Yes.
And again, y'all, these reach outs, they're not like this, like, they're not going to knock your socks off. You're gonna be like, really? That's what they said?
So this is one that we did for people that are on Facebook that I kind of knew. I know it's been ages since we've talked. I hope you are well, having a great summer. After this past year, I've closed my yoga studio and partnered with Arbonne to transition my wellness business online. I know this is out of the blue, but this year I'm being more intentional about connecting with like-minded women. I would love to have a virtual or in-person coffee date with you to show you what I'm doing in my business and pick your brain. I have no idea if it's a fit for you, but I really just want to expand my network, and you may know someone who would be amazing at this. Would you be up for that?
Okay, and what did she say?
Yes, and we did a one-pager.
Woohoo! So there you go. So she's in activity. Okay, let's talk about who's the second person.
I think it was the lady that was 90.
Oh yeah, tell me about the lady who was 90. What did you tell me about her? I said, who's the second person? And you said, well, she's 90.
Yeah, she's 90. She was somebody I used to volunteer with about 5 or 6 years ago. And I skipped over her because I'm like, she's 90. Why am I reaching out to her?
And she has lung cancer, right?
And she has lung cancer, yeah. And you made me do it. And actually, we had a great conversation. It didn't work out that it was for her, but I think it just made her whole day that I remembered her and that we connected. And if I could just say one thing real quick about these reach outs. Yeah. Not everybody, I got so many one-pagers from doing this, and no, they weren't all interested, but you know what? I am an amazing one-pager person now. Like, I have much confidence because I have given the one-pager like so many times in the last couple of months from this to people, whether they're interested or not, it doesn't matter. I grew from it. I really have a lot of confidence, and I used to feel awkward about it, and I don't anymore. Like, I can do the one-pager with anybody. So
yeah,
that's a plus.
Dang it, sister. That's awesome. And like, that's the thing, y'all, is that like, we're in the sorting business. And one thing about that lady that she was talking about, who's 90, who has lung cancer, my thinking, and again, I've like been doing this business long enough to where, like my mindset was a little bit different about this. Robbie's thinking was, I don't want to bother her. She's sick. She's old, like she can't afford this. My thinking was, you might make her day. Like, she might feel valued, that you're like, she can serve someone. Maybe she has no one calling her. Maybe she doesn't even have family coming around. Like, she could feel like she's of value to someone. Does that make sense? And so like, sometimes our job isn't really like making the sale. It's like, we're lifting other people up, and who knows, maybe she could point her in the right direction and say, you know what? My great granddaughter would be amazing at this. I don't know if it's that many greats, but she was old. So anyway, so that's just to show you that, like, I mean, you just never know. And what's the worst thing that comes out of it? You get really good at doing the one pager. You get confidence up, like you kind of like find your jam in doing it. So I just want to encourage everyone to do this. And there's no perfect reach out. Like, I think the most important thing is being authentic with people, and just really, like, just telling people, like, kind of like why you're reaching out to them, so and then if you do this, like, start with in alphabetical order and go all the way down your list. If you're done with your Facebook, like I am, like the next thing I'm going to do is probably go, I think what I'm going to do, I'm deciding between if I'm going to go through my phone contacts, because that's a good one, or like through like the school where my kids used to go, through all the. One tip that Jean taught me a long time ago was, she said, save all your school directories, right, Jean? Remember you told me that? Like, I think like Etta was like in 4K. She's like, save all your school directories, because you never know when you're going to need someone's number. And that's so true, because people put their cell phone numbers in the school directory. So I've got like boxes of Advent school directories that I could literally go through and create a reach out, because it doesn't matter. I'm just sorting people. I'm just trying to figure out, are you interested? Are you not? Are you interested in product? Are you interested in business? Are you interested in neither? Are you interested in both? Like, I'm just sorting people. So does that make sense to everyone? And it's really like, okay, who can speak to this? Who's been doing this? Like, Polly, I know that
I have something I've got to share. Okay, just in the same vein of this. So yes, this works so amazingly. But one thing that is so important is you end up, like Andrea said, like those reach outs she has, it's not copy and paste. You guys, it's you end up with different situations. So I had a situation where I came up to the next person, and it was someone that I was friends with on Facebook. So how many of you have friends on Facebook and you're like, I don't even know this person. I have no clue how I'm going to reach out to this person. So that happened to me, and for the first time, and then it happened over and over. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many friends and I don't even know. But this lady, I was like, I racked my brain. I looked at mutual friends. I could not remember how in the world had I met her. It wasn't through a Facebook event. So I thought, okay, first thing, I want to create some rapport. So I looked all over her Facebook page for what can I, and her husband had written a book about Birmingham. And so I thought, okay, there's my rapport. So here's my reach out to her. Hi, Alicia. I hope all is well with you. I was reading about your husband's book. Looks amazing. That's true. I didn't know. I said, totally random request, but I have a health and wellness business and looking to grow my network outside of my immediate friends. I noticed you and I don't have a ton of friends in common. This was true. Would you be open to letting me share what I do and just pick your brain about who you might know? It takes about 15 minutes and I would be grateful for your time. I always say that. I would be so grateful for your time. And I thought, there is no way that she is going to say yes. Guess what? She said, yes, of course. And I think it's because, and this has happened over like several times. And I think it's one, you do want to create some rapport, but also just being authentic. Like I said, we don't have a lot of friends in common. We don't. And I didn't want to say, I don't know you, but I was like trying to think of a way to say, I don't know you without saying, I don't know you. But, and then just saying, I'd be grateful for your time. Just, and y'all, she said yes. And I've had so many, and it's been the ones I thought, no way these people are going to say yes. Right, y'all? Those are the ones that I am like having these great conversations with. They have curiosity packs. They're interested. It is crazy. So yeah, shame on me for saying I had made a list, because boy, was I leaving a lot of people out. And and then remember there was one, Andrea, where I reached out to this girl and it was the wrong phone number, and it was this man, and he texted me and he said, actually, this isn't whatever her name is, Shelly. I can't remember what her name is, but this isn't Shelly's phone number anymore. This is Pastor Tim. And I was like, oh no, I have to ask Pastor Tim. I was like, Andrea, it's not the right phone number. She's like, ask him.
Ask him. You want it to count. So she asked Pastor Tim.
I asked him and he was like, well, I don't know about this week, but let me talk to me next week. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know this man, but he was nice. He's a pastor. He said, yes.
I mean, like, that's the thing is like, it's just, they're just people. And I have to say this, I'm sorry for those who've heard the story a million times lately, but it's just so funny to me. And it's so awesome because I'm in love with Blanca on our team. So this is hilarious, y'all. I was driving to my aunt's funeral who passed away. She was 91, and my dad wanted me to ride with him up to the funeral in DC. So I said, sure. And so my sister also said she'd come too. So we all met in Atlanta and drove up with my dad. And then my brother flew in and met us. So it was so fun. And so anyway, I set up shop in my back seat of my dad's car. Like, I seriously felt like I was 5 years old, like riding in the back seat of my dad's car with my sister. But so I was like doing my reach outs, and I said to my sister, I said, hey, Christina, I'm like, was Mike Corso like a year older than me, or was he like 2 years older than me? Because I know Jennifer Corso, who I was friends with, was a year below me. And she said, Mike, she's like, Mike was in my class. She said, why? She's like, are you going to reach out to him about our bond? And I was like, actually, I am. And so I did. And he says, actually, let me tell y'all what I reached out to him to say, just so you can like have the full story here, because it all comes full circle. Mike Corso. Okay. So I reached out to him and I said, hi, Mike, do you remember me from our Bishop Moore days? I think I was in the grade between you and your sister. I saw that you are still living in Florida. I've been in Birmingham, Alabama with my husband and our 3 girls for the last 20 years. And I say, wow, that sounds old. And you can see all the emojis that I put in. And then I said, random favor. I've had a health and wellness business for almost 16 years, and I'm starting to build teams all around Central Florida. And I would love to pick your brain about the market there. It's been years since I've been back, and I'm sure so much has changed. Would you be up for connecting? And he said, sure, Andrea, you can call me at, and he gave me his number. And I said, wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let me know what works with your schedule. Would you be up for a Zoom call by chance tomorrow or next week? Because I was not going to do that call with my dad and my sister in the car. But he said, I'd rather do it on the phone first. Could you do it right now? And I was like, Ikes. So of course my dad turns down the radio and my sister is listening, and it's so awkward. But I called him and I just told him like what I was doing and everything. And I explained to him what I was looking for, but I knew I did a little market research before and looked at his page and saw his adorable wife, Blanca. And I was like, dang, she'd be perfect. Like, she looks amazing. Like, she's just like energetic. She's a physical, she's a personal trainer, like just everything. And so when I was talking to him, he said, you know what? He's like, I've got someone who'd be perfect, like absolutely amazing. I'm like, who? And he's like, well, and he was just kind of like stammering a little bit. He's like, my soon to be ex-wife. So I said, oh, and he's like, I don't know if I should reach out to her. I was like, oh, well, I don't want to put you in a weird situation. Don't worry about it. So I reached out to Blanca Wave and then like we hit it off. And then I showed her it. Now she's doing the business. And y'all, I said this to Atticus yesterday. I'm like, I'm so glad Blanca came into my life because we're having so much fun. Like, she's actually going to the beach Labor Day weekend, and we're going to my dad's at the beach. And so we're going to like see each other there. But she's down in Orlando and she is about to promote to district manager. And she just signed up, what, August 2nd? Oh, wait, you're muted. Wait, unmute for 1 second. Wait, unmute, like hit the microphone button. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Blanca, just so they can see the other side of this. Did you think it was weird that I reached out to you? And you can tell the truth. Like, I don't know if you did or if you didn't.
No, actually it wasn't, because I actually was surprised because before you requested me to be friends on Facebook. So, and then I was looking, through your page because I'm curious, and I told you I usually don't accept, people that I haven't met before. But I was like, since with my ex-husband, we went to the 30 years reunion, and I thought maybe I miss her. It must be one of those girls that I met that day. So that's what I accepted your request, right? So I just was wondering how I missed that beautiful girl. But anyway, so yeah, when you reached me, I was like, like I said today in my life event, you came in the exact moment of my life when I needed the most. So for me, Andrea has been blessed to me for many reasons, because I need to reset my body, my mind, my skin, everything. So, and then when Andrea tells me, oh, this Arbonne does this, I mean, yes, this is what I need. So, and yeah, and also I start reaching out and know more about the products, and I really just the products, I mean, the ingredients of the products just hooked me up and said, you know what, why not? So not only I wanted to try, and I said, yeah, let's do business, because remember that same day I signed up to be a consultant. Everything we did in just one call. And
Yeah.
then so far it has been amazing, because I went through a lot of personal things. The second vaccine of Pfizer just killed me for almost 2 months. I was super, super sick. And I was with medication. I couldn't sleep. I gained weight in certain areas that I didn't like it. I was bloated. I was sad. I created melasma in my face, very negative, something that it wasn't me. I was probably also depressed. I just don't know. But the thing is, bringing me in this business, I was like, I have a purpose in life again. I can be focused. I can help people, because she helped me. How I can help people to reset again this button and feel alive, because I feel alive, but I don't know what happened in this segment of my life. And it's this crazy pandemic, like, oh my God. But now I feel productive. I feel like my heart is brightening. Even if I don't make it to the district at the end of the month, I think, you know what? I'm so happy, because Arbonne is doing a lot for me. Last week I was excited because through Paul I said, oh my God, I can not only reset my body, I can reset my mind and start over with my brain and see that what is really hurting me and how I can bring my life again. So really, for all those reasons, I just love it. And I'm thankful that you introduced me to Arbonne. Yeah. So that's what's very important, to reach out many people, because we never know how we and what, field we are, and it's going to help others.
And
so thank you so much.
No, I'm so glad. I mean, like, we were having so much fun. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like every day that we're talking, I'm like, this is so much fun. And the thing is that y'all, I would have never reached out to Mike ever. Like if I would have done what Paulie did and like gone through and like pick and choose like my people, he would have never been on that list, just because I would have been like, how awkward, like what, like he probably doesn't even remember me. I was younger than him in school, and like how that is in high school. And so like, why would I have reached out to him? And then of course, on top of it, when I asked my sister and she like said it like that, and then like it was so awkward in the car, I was like, oh my gosh. But it's just so funny how it works out. And that's the thing, is that like, it's not up to us to decide for people. Like, we're just offering it to people. And so don't ever feel bad about that. And the other thing is, all we're asking people to do is take a look at it. Like, that's not weird. Like, that's like, all we're saying is like, hey, can I show you what I'm doing? And that's it. And like what Paulie said, I'd be so grateful for your time, like who wouldn't, I mean, of course, like people, are going to want to help you. And that's how business is done. So yeah, so that is it. And I know like we're right at time right now, but I just wanted to see, does anyone have any questions just kind of about this, or like doing this method, or launching versus, kind of going into like a rotation of doing this every day? No one? Yes.
So what would you recommend for someone whose schedules don't look the same every day? Maybe they're at a job certain days of the week, they're home certain days of the week, and they really want to find that that habit stacking, like that place, that consistent spot. What would you recommend to them?
So I would pick a habit stack, like for instance, like every time you pull up to the house. Like for instance, like if you like have a job and like you've got to, like let's say you're at a job and you're working different times of the week, like you can have it like maybe you can't, I mean, you can always wake up earlier. Like, like that's always there. You can always wake up earlier and go to bed later because like, we can always schedule that in. So there's that. But then the other thing is you can have it stack it with, okay, every time right after dinner, I'm going to do this. Or every time I pull up to the house when I'm done with my job and I'm sitting in my car, I'm going to like leave my car running and I'm going to do this. So like, I think it's just that you have it stack it with something that you're already doing every day anyway, because I mean, it's the same thing. It's like people are busy, but people still brush their teeth. People still go to sleep. People still take a shower. Like there's things that have to get done. And this is the one thing that has to get done in your business. And again, it's not hard, y'all. Like it is not hard, but oh my gosh, it is so easy not to do. I mean, and I think about it like working out.